So welcome back. I'll now invite the President-elect to assume the chair.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's now my pleasure to call upon the President of the Nurses Association of New Brunswick, Darlene Cogswell, to address the Assembly.
Thank you, Brenda. So I'll try not to get too emotional. I'll save that for later, maybe at the banquet. First, I thank you for entrusting in me the honor of representing New Brunswick nurses as President of the Nurses Association. It has been an honor and a privilege and truly humbling to not only represent you provincially, but at the national level. And I know we have past presidents in the room and they would share that sentiment, I'm sure. We have a regulatory body that's held in the highest regard by our national counterparts as well as other provincial health associations and government. And as I said, it was a privilege to champion NANB's priorities, participate in restructuring CNA's future as a strong national voice in nursing advocate, and help shape nursing for healthier New Brunswickers. None of us get here without the support of our family, our friends. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and of course, to get where we are and continue to advance in our profession, we really can't do it without the support of our loved ones, our friends. And it has given me such rewarding experiences and opportunities for personal and professional growth to be where I am today, and I could not have done it without the support of my family. They're your true champions and people beside you who continue to push you along the way. Because as you know, for a lot of nurses, whether we started in the diploma school or whether you went, and I apologize to the translation, I never stay on. But it's okay, I'm finished today, so I never stay on script. On script, and the board of directors has tolerated that for the last 2 years, so I apologize to the translators. But we do, as nurses, get where we are, and nurses start their education. Myself, I started as a diploma nurse and then went on to get my baccalaureate at the University of New Brunswick. But as a nurse, you're a mother, a full-time mom with 3 children, and you have your husband, and you're also working part-time or full-time. I was working full-time and doing 12-hour nights, and had my oldest boy say to me, I think when he was about 5, Mom, when I grow up, do I have to go to school, work nights? I should have said no, because I said yes, and then I was unable to convince any of my 3 boys to go into nursing. So that was... So that was unfortunate, but as I said, we wouldn't do it without the support of our family and friends. That's okay, JW, you can come and join Nana. Because just like at our meetings, whether it's in the workplace or our professional body, what kind of a nurse would we be if our families were not important? So I forget what meeting I was at, and someone said, well, aren't you upset that so-and-so had their child there? And I said, absolutely not. What kind of a nurse would we be if we didn't put our families first in our own wellness? So, for those of you that know me, my passion continues to be my patients. So much of what you heard today, the fact that strangers allow us to care for them and support them through life's challenges, it is why I've chosen the nursing path I've chosen. It's why I've stayed in the positions I've stayed in, because I always wanted to make sure that you stayed close to the patient. It's what I love doing. It's what's kept me in nursing for 38 years. And as I transition to look towards retirement, it's what I'll do again. For those of you that don't know me, I'm presently a nurse manager, and I appreciate that as a nurse manager, my job is to look after the staff so that they can provide safe patient care to the patients. But the staff have to tolerate me, because then I come and look after the patients too, because that's what nursing is, and that's what my passion and love has always been. So I make sure I'm very visible and present and provide nursing care directly to the patients. Because when you look back, it's those moments of caring for your patients that you forget we made a difference. That caring, that connection, the taking the time to truly listen. At the time, you don't think you're making a difference, But as you work through your career, you'll see people out in the public, and they'll make those comments, and you'll say, wow, at the time, you figured you were just doing your job. So as I look forward to what lies ahead, recognizing my successor, I'll get back on script now. Brenda Kinney will take the reign as president, joining your board of directors with the help of staff successfully over the next 2 years. Throughout my career, I've chosen to participate in different professional organizations, the Nurses Association, NBNU, CFN, Canadian Nurses, sorry with the acronyms, Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions, and CNA. These experiences helped me to grow in many ways that I could have never experienced or understood that I would when I took the first step and put my name forward for nominations in those different organizations. And I don't think initially you would think about that, but as the new practitioners going into the profession, a small word of wisdom: get out of your comfort zone, put your name forward. You are leaders, and grab a mentor when you get into the workplace so that you'll continue to have that caring and passion for the people we serve. During my presidency, NANB has progressed and continues to introduce new technologies and supports available to nurses, as highlighted earlier in Roxanne's 2014 Year in Review presentation. I'm continually amazed at the commitment of NANB staff to monitor trends and remain current on the issues that impact nursing and affect healthcare locally, nationally, and beyond. While representing NANB at the Canadian Nurses Association Board of Directors meeting, I would often find myself smiling as other jurisdictions launch new initiatives that NANB currently practices. So I'd come back to the board meetings, always so proud of New Brunswick nurses and what we accomplish here in such a small province. So be proud. We are nationally recognized, and we continue to move forward, so be proud of that. As New Brunswickers plan for changes to our healthcare system, as well as to services and programs delivered by our provincial government impacting the nursing profession, NANB is constantly budgeting, monitoring nursing human resources, setting operational priorities and strategic goals, electing our new board of directors, transforming and implementing new technology initiatives, and preparing to celebrate our milestone centennial anniversary in 2016. We are an organization with a proud history, well-positioned to continue its leadership in professional self-regulation and advancement of the profession and healthy public policy in the public interest for all New Brunswickers. What a history, 100 years, built upon the accomplishment of the pioneers who created this organization and those who advanced it. To name a few from most recent years, and we have some in the room: France Marquis, Martha Vickers, Monique Cormier-Dagg, Sue Ness, Beth Sparks, Nicole Brudeau, Ruth Lyons, Betty McWilliam, Joan Kingston, Fonda Cassie, and Lucille Offrey. Lucille, unfortunately, couldn't be here today, but initially I thought she was going to be. Not only has she served us well provincially, but at the national level as well. So again, proud New Brunswicker. And last but certainly not least, NANB's ambassador of self-regulation and tireless advocate for the nursing profession, dedicating 25 years to the association, serving on the board of directors as a member, both president-elect and president, staff and current executive director Roxanne Tarson. A nurse leader with the talent to mentor those of us fortunate to have crossed her professional path. I met Roxanne in 1980. We're just young nurses then. When I worked at the Shallore Hospital in Bathurst, and can tell you my first impression was she was a force to be reckoned with. I've been fortunate throughout my 38-year career to be guided by those more experienced and knowledgeable than I. I've always said I don't have to be the brightest, I just make sure they're around me, and then you look really good. Because many brains are better than one. So we've all had mentors who have shaped us, and Roxanne has helped shape me as a nurse and added to me being where I am today, and I thank her for that. I'm not so sure if she knew. I don't think Roxanne knew that she was and continues to be one of my most valued mentors. What I admire most is Roxanne's ability to see the big picture and to anticipate the future, always mindful of the public interest and the impact on nursing. She is a true visionary, respectful of others, wisely prepared on any issue that arises, transparent and accountable to those she serves, and confident in navigating through changes effectively. I reached out to counterparts, friends, past presidents, and this is a little bit of the feedback I got. I could read it all here today, but you'd be crying with me if I did read it, so it's probably just as well I don't. So these sentiments are shared by many. 1, I was not surprised to receive comments such as, Roxanne did her homework and scrutinized draft policy, position, and financial statements. Many of us were quite impressed with the depth of questions she would raise. Roxanne contributed with passion and grace and always held the public interest as paramount in our work. She served the public, her council members, stakeholders, the province, and Canada well. Roxanne is a model politician. I've taken lessons. She truly listens and is fair when making decisions. She's always open to change and trying something new while adding last-minute challenges in an almost impossible time frame.
That must have been staff.
It was, but I agreed with them. It's so true, having seen her in action. As I said, Roxanne and I served on the board of directors in 1980. We were both, I think, members I was member at large for practice. She was member at large for administration, past presidents, because we used to have chapter, we still have chapter presidents, but the chapter presidents used to be on the board of directors. So it is a long history of being on different committees for the association together. As president, I couldn't help but notice with respect and confidence from her peers, politicians, physicians, and government employees, as well as the general public. As you can see, Roxanne has been a very strong asset to NANB. Many significant accomplishments have occurred at the association during her mandate. The introduction of the nurse practitioner legislation in 2002, and the registration of our first nurse practitioner in 2003. Organizational review, introduction of a new board structure, where we went from a board of 20 to 25 down to 12. Online renewal and registration verification over the last few years. Introduction of the Continuing Competence Program in 2007. And most recently, transitioning to the NCLEX Entry to Practice exam. She's lived through 2 sustainable long-range fiscal plans, a 5-year strategic plan, establishment of the capital fund for ongoing building sustainability, including the elevator upgrade and building access enhancements. For those of us that's been around a few years, you'll remember we used to have the association office on Saunders Street. It was a beautiful old building, but not a building for a nice office to be in. You had to go up these stairs to this little tiny room at the top where if you stood up, you banged your head. Then we moved to the new building downtown on the corner of Brunswick and Regent, where I hope you're all, if you haven't been in the building, are going to go and do the tour. And when we went in there, we didn't have what you would consider to be a real elevator. It was a lift and a little bit dangerous. And I think it was a few years ago when I was on the board, Randy Dickinson, I think the lift got stuck. It wasn't one of our nicer moments. Now we have a beautiful new elevator. So that was planned, the money was set aside over several years, and we now have it. It's beautiful. She also strengthened our staff capacity, and the list goes on and on. She is sought after for her contribution on various committees at the provincial, regional, and national level. As you know, she served not only as president, but multiple committees at the Canadian Nurses Association. She sat at the Canadian Nurses Protective Society on our behalf, Canadian Council of Registered Nurse Regulators, National Nursing Assessment Service, just to name a few. Now, I'm somewhat surprised. I was surprised to learn of a Thelma and Louise road trip Roxanne and Sue Ness embarked on. On a coastal drive, they were in Vancouver doing nursing business, but they decided to take a drive from Vancouver Island through Oregon, sharing only that Roxanne was known to let her hair down. I haven't seen that much of her in our times together. and the staff have nicknamed her Foxy Roxy. She knits some of the most beautiful sweaters and scarves for staff, friends, and friends having grandbabies. And I need to share, we were at, what meeting we were at? It was CNA, but I can't remember where we were, if it was in Ottawa. We were in Winnipeg. Yes, we were in Winnipeg. And so I now have a grandson. He's still, he's younger than JW, and he's in Moose Jaw. So we were in Winnipeg, and I was going to go see him after our annual meeting with CNA, and Roxanne knit me a little blanket for him. She said, I think I'll have it done before you leave. And she did. It was sweet, and I just wanted to let her know it's in his baby pictures. Also, staff informed me she makes a wonderful Seville orange marmalade to rival any of the gourmet cooks. It goes without saying NANB has evolved through Roxanne's leadership, and we will be forever grateful for her contribution to regulation, the profession, and healthy public policy. Roxanne, as you sail off on your well-deserved journey of retirement with Julius, Clara, Paul, and grandson JW, and I'm so pleased they could be here today, cherish each moment, recognizing you've fulfilled a remarkable career of historic accomplishments, and you should probably know staff have already enlisted you as a volunteer to assist with the centennial celebrations. Sorry, Julius. This is not the end, but the beginning of your next journey, closing one chapter of a successful career to embrace new challenges, lend expertise to further stakeholders, and absorb every milestone moment with your grandbabies. So on behalf of the registered nurses of New Brunswick, we thank you for generations of leadership, mentoring, and vision for the nursing profession.
Thank you very much, Darlene. It's a very interesting moment in one's life when you arrive here. You hear the voice starting to shake. I obviously have been thinking about this moment a lot. And when I look out into the audience, I know many of you have known me for so many years, and you know that I am not uncomfortable crying in public. However, I will do my best today, but when I speak of things that have deep meaning for me, this is what usually happens, but the team knows and my family knows that I'm usually better in about 32, 35 seconds till it hits me again. So the first thing I wanted to say was the last and the first shall be first. I want to recognize my family. I don't think they need introduction. It seems they've become part of the group today. And Darlene has so very well stated how we go throughout life, no matter what our role is, with our families being our champions. And when Joyce and I were first married, you know, we were children of the 70s, right? I graduated from high school in 73 and university in 77. It was all very egalitarian, right? And I used to say to Julius, marriage is not 50-50. If it's 50-50, then we start measuring. And I'm saying, well, I've done my 50%. So it's 100-100. We all have to give 100%. But I'm here today to acknowledge that I'm not quite sure I lived up to my 50% because I've been able to do the things that I've done because I've had such a wonderful partner that supported me in them. Clara was starting school when I really started sitting on the board of directors, and being involved with your professional association and engaged in your profession is a reality of her life. And I'm very proud to say that she's already sat on the board of directors of the regulatory body for her profession, social workers, and would we expect nonetheless, right? So congratulations to her as well. Paul is one of the newer members of our family, and he's my favorite son-in-law. So welcome to our family, Paul. And you've met the absolute love of all our lives, John William. And Edward Dubé, our member of the public, said to me today, and there is the reason Roxanne is retiring. And that's right, that's the reason that I'm retiring. So in our family, I think that you feel the same way about Jack Johnson, Paul. Jack Johnson is a singer that we all love. And he has a song that says, "It's our time." And so that, for me, to my family, is, it's now our time. And you will become my priority, and thank you for supporting me in this marvelous career. I'm going to be all right in a minute. I have been reflecting on how much my professional life has been entwined with this professional association and our profession. And I have to say, it has been absolutely enriching. And to the group of students who are here today, you must become involved with your profession, your professional association, your unions. If you focus in an interest area, it will enrich your life as a professional, and it will always continue to challenge you to be the professional that you want to be. Many months ago, I said to Darlene, "Now, Darlene, I don't want NANB to be spending a whole lot of money on celebrations, etc. It's not necessary." And what I want to say to you is that my gift, my privilege has been to do this work, to be involved with this association, to have been supported by my employer to do that, and then eventually come to NANB to work as a practice consultant, and then to have the dream and the courage to offer myself as executive director, and have been able to fulfill that role for 14 years. A lot has been said very positively about me today, and I want to thank every one of you for that. But we never accomplish things on our own, and the achievements that may look like my achievements or NANB achievements are the achievements of a whole team. And I want to recognize that team. I want to recognize the staff of NANB. You're all very motivated, high-achieving professionals that expect the best from yourselves and deliver that. And thank you very much for that. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with you and for you. I think we've created a great work environment at NANB. We have an absolutely top-notch facility, and I look forward to your accomplishments in the years to come. I also want to acknowledge the nurses of this province that I've sat with on the boards of directors and committees, etc., because they have all been mentors and they have all helped too in my professional development. And it's a unique thing to be an executive director and work so closely with a president in your career. And I only think of Lucille Offrey working with me as a young president as well. And so every 2 years you get to know someone very, very closely and accomplish things together. So I also thank the presidents that I've worked with for that. And finally, I want to thank you, the nurses, for your confidence in me, your confidence in the association, and your support. A lot is being shared today that's positive. Life is not without its challenges and its discussions, but it's those challenges that help us grow, that help us understand each other better, and in the end, result in a better, stronger outcome. So debate and dialogue and discourse is important. We don't all see the world the same way, and that's why when we consider each other's view and move forward, we'll have the best view that we can come up with. So please stay engaged with your professional association and your profession and your commitment to nursing and healthcare. And thank you for the most wonderful career I could have imagined.
Thank you, Madam President. I now return the chair to you.
Thank you, Brenda. As Roxanne said, she did give me a message about several things, but she also taught me, well, I don't listen and don't take no for an answer. So as you can see, the agenda and format changed a little bit today, but it's only fitting that we recognize someone that's given so many years of her nursing life to the nursing profession here in New Brunswick. So, and as she said, absolutely, it was her and the staff at the association that continues to bring us forward. So I wouldn't have had it any other way, Roxanne.